Hi there, everyone. Here we are again on the Tipsy Realtor, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have Trisha Stokey. She is a lady we use to stage all of our houses. So she's here to help us teach you guys about garnishing cocktails and garnishing homes. And if you notice, we're all garnished. We're all garnished with our tiaras.
Accessories for the show. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, we thought a little bit bling, we decorating our cocktails today. We're talking about decorating our homes today. Might as well decorate ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it gives us a chance to wear a crown, to be honest. So
Let's
for
be
band
honest.
in my case, come on, getting fancy here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We needed a reason to wear a tiara, so
finally.
So here we are talking about garnishing cocktails, and you can see that we have a very full table in front of us, and it's because there are so many different ways to garnish our cocktail. So if you look at Anna's cocktail, you can see I made her a cucumber Collins. So we've taken cucumbers, sliced them in slices, and then wrapped them around the inside of the glass before filling it, and then a lime. So that's one way you can garnish a cocktail. Fruits and vegetables is certainly one way. Now, don't limit yourself to just the rind fruits and vegetables because you can use peaches, you can use apples, you can use pears, you can use strawberries. I like actually at Valentine's, I take my strawberries and I cut them into hearts and then I put them on the cocktails that way.
I'm like, here's a strawberry.
So, but even too is if you notice here, so you can use flowers as well. And I've got a bowl of raspberries, and what I did with the bowl of raspberries is I actually took the lavender out of my garden and I skewered it through the raspberries, and then you could garnish a cocktail with that.
I love that. Oh my God, I'm going to steal this idea, Robin.
The other thing you can do is actually at Christmas time, which is a beautiful garnish for a cocktail, is using rosemary and sliding cranberries, whole cranberries onto it, and it makes for a beautiful, fabulous Christmas time garnish.
Yeah, rosemary is probably one of my favorite garnishes for cocktails, and I use it a lot for tons, especially if you make anything with gin.
Yes.
It goes well.
Oh, yeah. It does. But you can also use, there's a ton of different herbs. I'm going to pass this.
Yes.
You can use rosemary, thyme, mint, lavender, cinnamon sticks. And you can actually take them and you can freeze them into your ice balls or your ice cubes as well to put them into cocktails too. But the one thing, and we were talking about this earlier, is that if you're going to freeze things and you want your ice cubes to be non-cloudy, you need to actually take distilled water, boil it, and then pour it in. And then that's how you get those non-cloudy ice balls where you can see your herb inside.
And one thing, I've done this thing with the flowers, and it was for one of my dear friends' baby shower, and said flowers would be such a cool way to get a whole ice bucket, where you put your champagne and things in. And I realized not all the flowers keep their color. Once they're frozen, some lost their color and turned brown. So I had to throw all them away or put them on the bottom of the buckets. And the flowers that actually kept the color I put on top.
Well, and then if you're putting flowers in your cocktail, something to note is that you want to make sure you put edible flowers in your cocktail. So as you can see on Trisha's drink,
where am I going?
You can see that hers is actually garnished with an orchid. And now orchids are an edible flower, so are roses. And if you go online, you can find a large amount of edible flowers that are online that you can actually put inside your cocktails, making them nice and beautiful. But the one thing I like to do is when I'm done with my roses and they've kind of started wilting too much, I actually take them, hang them upside down, and then we take the petals and we put the rose petals into cocktails as well. If you don't have that, you can actually go down to the spice market in Inglewood and you can actually buy dried rose petals and then put those onto a cocktail as well.
The spice merchant actually has amazing spices. If you love to cook, I would highly recommend.
Yeah. And then also too is same with lavender. I usually buy mine down in Inglewood as well, is that you can actually buy lavender if you don't have any.
Yeah, like the little flowers. So you can just shake it right on top of your I love when they make it cascading down, over your glass.
Yes.
So pretty.
So those are some of the things. Also, too, is if you're into more savory drinks, don't be scared to put in, big, huge spears of things. Like you've seen in some of the Caesars nowadays. There's, steaks and burger
chicken.
Yeah.
Yes. charcoal that is being already deep fried with batter on it.
And some cocktails right now, like there's a cocktail out there right now called a cotton candy, and they actually garnish it with large amounts of cotton candy on top. So that's another one. Lollipops is another great thing to garnish it with. But you can also garnish, like we were talking about, if you have a cocktail and it's blue, I love putting in a lot of crushed ice and then garnishing it with gummies.
Yeah, gummies. We have sharks, and a baby shark song stuck in my head now. Yeah.
So, and then if you are winding your cocktails, it's always a good idea to have a good tool around. We have the Gentleman's Hardware, which we've used quite often.
And some of you guys won last year. We've got quite a few winners who got this tool. We would love to see if you guys using it.
Yeah, so
it's handy.
This is how you can get your rinds out, your nice spirally pieces like on mine, where we spiraled it. And mine, I'm drinking an Old Flame.
Yes.
She's drinking a Cucumber Collins.
Cheers.
And she's drinking a Donna Rosa.
Well, cheers, ladies. Yay. Delicious. I actually said to Robin, I always wanted to try this cocktail. It's an old-fashioned cocktail, classic.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. It's a perfect freshness, a little bit of sweetness, and sort of refreshing even on a day like this. Like that. Yeah. Right, it kind of rains today, yeah.
But you know what's funny though is I actually believe that a cocktail tastes better when it's garnished correctly, just like a house sells better when it's staged.
That is true.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you, working with Trisha saves us a lot of time.
Yeah,
I mean, Robin and I both have done a lot of renovations. I'm sure we can definitely stage some homes. But you know what? What Trisha does, she does it like in that half time.
Yeah.
And you are magnificent. I was so impressed with your job you did in the condo with Cochran when we did.
That was a fun job with you.
That was a big work. Like I looked at it and I was like, "There's no way." So Trisha went and not only like we moved some furniture, we moved art around.
Yeah.
And the sellers came back and they loved it. They're like, "Wow, what
they moved, right?"
Yes, yeah.
I've had sellers come home and they're like, "No, we're staying now."
Yeah.
And they won't move.
Oh, but she made it look so good that it's like not to sell.
And there's lots of different ways that you can stage. So a lot of people think staging is bringing in someone else's furniture and bringing in other people's artwork and all this other kind of stuff. You can do that. That is one way of doing it. It's a very expensive way of doing it. What we usually do with our clients is we actually use what they have, because you've said before, most people actually have nice stuff.
Most people have stuff. And I walk into a house and people go, "We don't have anything." And then by the time we're all done, it's a whole new house. And it's only their stuff that we've used.
I think it's like magic when you can come into somebody's home and show them how they things can look different.
Absolutely.
And some people have really no idea how to like stage it properly, like aesthetically.
Aesthetically,
right?
yes. And it's a lot to do with just placement of furniture,
mm-hmm.
right? The way that we are trained to place furniture is how we want people to walk through the house.
Absolutely.
Right? And what's funny is most people, you've said this before when we're staging houses, most people will actually take the same path through your home as everyone else. So as much as we're all unique and different, we're kind of all the same too. And they will only look at a room from a certain angle, because you're never going to go to the back of the living room and look backwards to see how the living room looks. You're always going to look at it from those main kind of travel
from
points.
Your first view. Yeah.
And you have to remember how everything photographs too, right? You want to make sure you open up the room and the furniture turns a certain way that you actually can capture it in a photograph, right?
And for photographing, lighting is important.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So,
what would you recommend for lighting?
Lighting, we always say do a nice soft light, but depending on the room. So if you are in a main powder room, right? There's no windows or anything, then we're okay to go do the hard cold light, because it makes the room brighter.
That's right.
But whatever light type you have in that room, make sure it's all consistent. Okay. Don't have one bulb that's a cold blue light and one bulb
especially the ones like the ones are hanging and you can see there's a different bulbs in it, because one is yellow, one is blue, one is a little bit smoky looking, so make sure your bulbs are all the same voltage and same color, yes,
and it shows up in your photos. Very funny.
So what you're saying is like the orange, you kind of like, you call it the warm light, but it's like the orangey yellow light versus the white hard light. I don't know. I don't think anyone looks good in white hard light. I'm just saying.
You know what it reminds me? It reminds me of the lights that you see in the offices.
Mm.
The
Right.
fluorescent lights.
The fluorescent
right?
light, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if of course, we all want to explore. I mean, the natural light, right? We want to make sure that the windows are open as possible.
Light. Yeah.
Nothing better as the natural light. What about talking about garnishes and stuff? What do you think about fruits and flowers to use for decoration?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you favor one over the other?
So usually for a table centerpiece, I will tell someone to use a bowl of green apples.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For the reason why green apples show really good in your photos.
Right.
So not green limes?
You can use green limes. You can use lemons. Usually it's try to stay away from the oranges. Orange, red, that kind of stuff.
Why?
Because we want it to pop.
Oh, okay.
So
right?
yellow, green is more poppy.
Right. If you use a tall vase, so you've got big picture window in front of your table or behind your table, tall vase, all you see in your photo is your vase. You don't actually see the window that you're selling.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good tip. But I always go with flowers. That's my thing.
Flowers work. We use flowers
depending on where they go.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I definitely have all different shapes and sizes of vases because it depends on the table. I have long square vases. I have tall, kind of round or square. All depends if it's a modern home or transitional style.
Whatever.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good to know, like what fruit to use. And do you care if it's a real fruit or fake fruit for the staging?
I don't care.
There you go. So if you guys not a fruit people and you're like, I don't know, ever gonna eat green apples, just go buy some green apples at
HomeSense, Michael's, anywhere like that.
So where do you go for your stuff? Like if you were like picking your accent decor pieces, right?
Yeah, what's your favorite spot? Like if you're gonna tell a client, go to this one spot and like 90% of stuff is gonna be there.
HomeSense.
Mm-hmm.
And you said before, so what is it? For every $100 you spend, you said a
So you have to remember, staging is a 4 process.
Okay.
So your processes are cleaning.
Okay.
Because nobody wants to live in a dirty house.
No one wants to live in a dirty. And think of it like this: if you go into a hotel, right, you expect the maid has already come in. You don't want to see someone else's hair on the floor.
Okay.
Fair.
But it's also too, because like women, when we walk in, we're like, who can I become? This is me. And no woman wants to believe she's dirty. So she walks in, she's like, I'm not dirty.
I'm not
dirty.
And this place is magical, and it stays like this forever.
Exactly.
Well, and I laugh because I bought this house actually because it had a formal dining room, and I was going to start hosting dinner parties, which I still don't do. And I've lived here 20 years.
Do you guys use it as a family?
Well, Zenon uses it for Lego.
Okay. So, not for dinners, but it still finds a purpose.
But that's the why it's who can I become, right? So if I walk into a house and I don't want to be that dirty person, that's why cleaning matters.
Cleaning matters. And no one wants to see anyone else's dirt.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's also off-putting to a lot of people. And you don't want to be remembered as a house that is dirty, right? So it's kind of like...
And everyone's got a different tolerance of dirt, too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yes. And, just since we're talking about this, remember for the pets, not everybody's a pet lover. Not everybody, can tolerate any pets because some of them people are quite allergic to cats or dogs. So you want to minimize the placement of dog dishes and mats and things like that.
So here's your trick.
This is good. I'll take notes on this one.
This is what you do. Yeah. Get a Rubbermaid bin, dark colored, not the clear ones.
Okay.
And before you're showing, you throw everything in. Dirty dishes, dirty laundry, all your pet dishes, anything you want.
Hopefully not together.
Put it all in the bin. Mix it up.
Yeah. And because it's temporary.
It's temporary.
Yeah. You just close it.
Put the lid on it. Label it. Like right now we're kind of fall, so label it flip-flops or summer shorts or whatever. Put it over in the corner. Then when your showing is done, you can come back. You can deal with the bin.
I love this idea.
I think you should label it drug dealing stuff. Label it something super weird.
Oh my God!
There goes my tiara.
Oh no! Don't lose a tiara. No losing head.
See, not all staging is perfect.
No. This does not come out for 20 years. This was like the
I
wedding.
know, right? When we decide to wear tiaras, I texted Trisha. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and she's like, "Well, I have one, but I didn't wear it for 20 years. So I got married." I was like, "Well, that's a perfect chance to get it out and
Exactly.
use it." Yes.
So, is there any other final kind of big tips that you want everyone to know?
Like must know.
Must know.
Okay, so every house does not need to be staged.
Okay.
But every house going on market needs a consult.
Mm.
So
Okay.
Explain that.
if my house was going on market, I would not be able to go in and stage my own house because I am personally attached to everything in there.
Good point. Yes.
Right? So I would call in another stager.
Mm-hmm.
They would edit for me.
Fresh eyes, fresh look. Because you don't see everything because you're so used to it already,
You're
right?
so used to it.
And,
you have
of course, you think your house is beautiful already.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
So,
not okay.
Personal.
Yes.
But
Staging is not
staging
personal.
is not. So staging is, you have to think staging is only a marketing tool.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. Selling your house, it's your biggest asset.
And I
you
know
own.
that you give options to the sellers in terms of you can do consultations, you can come and actually physically move furniture with them, without them. Some people do feel a little bit still.
I've done it through Zoom.
Oh, did you not?
Over COVID, that's right. Because
Right?
you
Because we weren't allowed into houses.
That's amazing.
So
Like with the phone camera, they use the phone.
We had both two people at the house, and they would just tour me through the house, and I'd tell them to move things.
Well, there you go. So there's always a solution for everything. There is always a way if somebody wants to get it done.
Yeah.
And actually,
Sounds great.
we've even had clients bring you in after when they move into their new house, and they've used you to help place the furniture in the new house, so that makes their new house. And I've even personally taken photos of my room, sent them to her, and said, "Okay, I'm decorating. What do I need to do?" And then she takes care of me.
Honestly, I think stages, interior designers, though, like you guys are just like, you are such a time saver. It's like, it's like to me, sometimes I would go to the store lucky three. Like at least like 10 times. Buy this lamp, return the lamp.
Sometimes we do it too.
Yeah. But it's like, but I do it like with everything. And then like, professional comes in, move around here, move around there. And then you're like, oh my God, like it took you half an hour and a glass of wine.
Well, so my favorite memory. So my favorite memory was we were in a house and they had these beautiful plates on either side of the fireplace. And I was like, oh, it's so pretty. I'm sure she won't touch that. And then she moves them over one behind each other on one side. I'm like, oh, that does look better.
Right? And the things you don't even think about.
Exactly.
It's make it all. It's supposed to be eye-catching and eye-pleasing.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? So sometimes we need to only consultation.
Only consults, lighting,
clean the house,
clean
make
your
sure
house,
it's
pack up your personal photos.
Yeah.
Now, there's two reasons for this.
Okay.
One, because you want your buyers to imagine.
Sorry, keep going. We'll deal with that later.
I lost my mind.
Yes. You want your buyers to imagine themselves in your house.
Yeah.
Two, because the photos have gotten really artsy. Like if you think of like wedding photos and stuff nowadays, they're really, really artsy. So now someone will look at the photo and go, oh, we should go get our wedding photos retaken. Or we should go get new family photos. So now they're distracted from looking at the house.
Never even thought about that.
I find a lot of people always want to look at them to try and figure them out. Right? Why are they selling?
Well, like usually, yes. I say put your pictures away, especially the ones more intimate, if you don't want to be seen, because everybody
Please
looks
put away
at the
the
photo.
intimate
Yes,
ones.
Definitely the intimate ones.
It's not for everybody.
No.
Okay.
But we're still giving away
Yes. It's a wine thermometer.
So it attaches to it.
Yes.
So it's a wine thermometer
Smart.
that attaches.
It's smart.
A smart wine thermometer. There's an app. It tells you when your wine is getting cool. It tells you when your wine is at the perfect temperature.
Yep.
It allows you to always serve your wine at the perfect temperature. And we decided it was a September thing because kids went back to school and we all need wine.
That's right. And it's gonna go really well with our topic for the next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're talking about wine tasting, and we're gonna have sommelier on the show that's gonna educate how to do this if you don't have maybe a smart wine thermometer.
Yeah, or the difference between tasting wine
Yes.
and what's worth it. But
Yes.
the thing that you also have to know is that it's also going to be about what to look for when buying a house, because you're comparing wines and you're comparing houses.
Exactly. So how do you enter to win? Share our videos. Show some love by liking. We are on all social media platforms. So we will put your name in the draw at the end of the month, and one lucky person will win it. Hopefully it's me.
I'm
First
hoping it's
Wednesday of
me.
October. So yeah. So remember, if you're looking at buying or selling real estate, if you know anyone looking at buying or selling in the next 6 to 12 months, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors you don't like, have them call us. We would love to help them. Me and Anna, we're here to make sure you make educated decisions, which, although this is always fun to educate and entertain you at the same time, it's important that you guys make good decisions when you're selling the largest asset in your life.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.